Hey everybody, this is AG here. I'm starting a new series on my channel. This one being Breath of the Wild. Um, in case you didn't see my full review on it, I 100%ed this game, and I found this game really fun. But I wanted to go through the game again because um, it's um, because as of today, March 3rd, is the 2-year anniversary of this game coming out. So me recording this is sort of, sort of a interesting moment. Oh my gosh, I gotta sneeze. 1 second. Okay. Had to mute myself there. No way it's coming back. Oh gosh. So gonna start a new game. Start from the beginning. Another one.
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Wake up, Link.
And that's how the game starts. I actually find the beginning of this game really interesting because most people, when they were booting up the game for the first time, had no idea what they were in for. Like, people are used to Zelda games having this incredibly lengthy
That
tutorial
is a sheet of slate. Take it.
in which,
It will help guide you after your long
and for the
slumber.
game to literally just go like, hey, here's the beginning of the game. Good luck. So this is going to be the tool that we use for the entire game, which is the Sheikah Slate. It replaces virtually like all of our abilities in the game. Like normally, like each dungeon would give you a new ability, and use that in the dungeon. Yeah, new ability or weapon, and then you just do that. But the Sheikah Slate is a little bit more than that. It's got a telescopic lens, so I can place pins down for various differences. You could also pull up as a map. Don't know. Huh. Yeah, you could pull up as a map. The other things are kind of broken right now, so you can't use it. But the most important part is your inventory. You also got like all of your. You got you got your quests and stuff. I like how it like shows on recovered memories because you have none. Your save function. Something about options. I'm going without a HUD, and I am not fast traveling in this entire game, with some caveats. The caveats are I'm only allowed to teleport to certain areas. And I wanted to do a HUDless run because I've been very reliant on it in the past to know where I'm going. Something interesting about opening crates is that, well, opening chests in this game is that normally people would just go to the crate and open it, and it's got the same sort of cane animation. But what people don't know is that from different directions, you open it differently. Everyone kind of knows the stubbing your toe if you kick it from behind. There's a pair of pants, the whirl quip. But some people don't actually know the crouching hitting it behind, which you punch it with your hand. And it's actually kind of funny that I've actually talked to some people and they've never actually known that that was an animation in the game. So much unlike other Zelda games, you don't really have a starting you don't have a dedicated outfit, and the reason is that, okay, we'll get to it in a bit, but
Hold the sheet of slate up to the pedestal. That will show you the way. Link, you are the light. Our light.
no, you're a light.
On Hyrule once again. Now go.
Okay, so I forgot I switched jump and run. So one of the first things that people notice is that there's a dedicated jump button, and one of the reasons for that is so you can scale objects like that. And that's like basically unheard of in Zelda games. Like, and here we have one of the best opening title shots in the series. Looking straight at a Hyrule Castle, seeing Death Mountain in the background, and then just zooms back on the Temple of Time over there. The Great Plateau. So if I were to pull open the map and you see where I am on the map and how far I have to like zoom in just to see the like simple path that I took, and then you see all this, yeah, so this game is very I don't want to say non-linear, but the game is very open. So now we have a weapon to use. Just like classic, just like some Zelda games, you don't actually get a sword until a little bit into it. I think one of the best like ones that do that are like, I don't think you actually get a weapon until like, and have to defend yourself against enemies in like 3 Zelda games, maybe just 2. those being Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, but I think those ones were more of wanted you to get immersed into the world a little bit before actually getting into the game. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back jump. It's messing me up too much. So the two things that we basically have in our inventory now are, besides the armor that we have weapons, which are just currently being taken up by tree branches, and materials, which, as you can see, you eat them to regain hearts. Instead of, like, you being able to cut the grass to get, like, hearts and rupees, you have to, like, strive a little bit harder to do that. Oh ho, well met, stranger. It's rather unusual to see another soul in these parts. Bye. Wait! Where are you running off to? Is speaking with a strange man truly such an awful use of your time? What brings such a bright-eyed man to a place like this? Where are we? Answering a question with a question. That is fair enough. As I cannot imagine our meeting being a simple coincidence, I shall tell you. This is the Great Plateau. According to legend, this is the birthplace of the entire kingdom of Hyrule. What he's trying to say is that the Great Plateau is about the size of the entirety of the map of Ocarina of Time. That temple over there long ago is the site of many sacred ceremonies. Ever since the decline of the kingdom 100 years ago, it sat abandoned in a state of decay. Yet another forgotten entity, a mere ghost of its former self. I shall be here for some time. Please let me know if I may be of service. Torch. Well then, help yourself to that torch there, and how, may I ask, are you planning to use it? To set things on fire? Well, that is rather unnerving. Please be cautious around any dry grass that may catch fire. You know there are plenty of monsters in this area. The torch could make a good weapon if need be. However, do not swing it around without purpose. You might face your opponent and lock... You must face your opponent and lock your sights on them. Press and hold the lock on. One last thing. I beg your pardon. I do believe that is my best apple. You can't go around taking whatever you please. Oh, forgive me. I could not resist pulling your leg. Please help yourself. An apple in an open flame makes for a succulent treat. And he's right. If you actually look at the fresh apple, it heals half a heart, while a baked apple heals 3/4 of a heart. Meaning that what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold both of these apples, and I'm going to cook both of them. So that they're a little bit better. I might as well do that for these mushrooms as well. Toasty. You okay there, dude? Oh, you were probably freaked out by the fire. Sorry. Oh.
Link. Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
My new objective is right there. Just to show you, like, what you can do in the game, I'm gonna go a little bit between them, place a stamp, let's just put down this yellow marker, and then if I were to pull up my telescopic lens, I can actually see the yellow marker. If I had the mini-map up, I can see it a lot clearer, but I do find it kind of interesting that, like, you could do stuff like that. I'm gonna just delete that for now because I already know where I'm going. This axe is also useful, but not for as a weapon. But I will try to hold onto this torch as long as possible, because having a torch on hand is actually very helpful. But you'll notice something when I switch over to the woodcutter's axe. Not only is it the first time that Link is using a two-handed weapon, like, it is a non-sword-like weapon. Like, the torch and the tree branch are all one-handed weapons, so you could use your shield, which you pull up by pressing the lock-on button. In this game, though, it's slightly different. Look, squirrel. Now we get an interaction with one of the first enemies in the game, which is a bokoblin. My tree branch broke, so I had to grab his. And here are some bokoblin parts. We'll go into what those are useful for later. Got more apples. Look, it's Choo Choo. Yeah. Yeah, so as I just showed, I defeated 2 different types of enemies, and I got 3 different types of items from it. Usually, an enemy will drop their standard fare. It will usually be a horn, a tooth, and a extraneous body part. Usually it's a horn, a fang, and then guts, which are useful in, and all 3 of them are effectively upgrades of each other. So this one's common, rare, common, uncommon, and the one doesn't even show up unless it's higher leveled enemies. But you'll notice that, like, there is something interesting, like, these ones have hearts on it, and you could eat them to restore health, like I'm going to demonstrate. But, it says it isn't edible, but it can be tossed into a stew with some critters to make an elixir. And we're going to go over a lot more of that later. But I actually find it really interesting just looking through some of the older, like, ruins just in this beginning part, because, like, this looks awfully close to the place that you meet Zelda in Ocarina of Time, and, like, people have done, like, whole dissertations about how they painstakingly recreated, like, some of the more well-known areas in this game. Well, there was a butterfly. You could actually catch butterflies and use them for stuff too. This, like, downtrodden machine over here gave me an ancient spring, one of the various items that can come from robotic enemies. So I'm sneaking up on that. Backfired. I was trying to sneak up on him, but it looked like it didn't work. Now I got his club and used it against him. Like, you could see a slow progression of, like, weapons. Like, even from the beginning of the game. So you know that as long as you could defeat an enemy, even if it gets rid of the item that you're using, you can always get, like, a different thing from an enemy that you're fighting. Believe that there is a Choo Choo in this one. Yep. I'm gonna hold off on getting this chest for now. Because I actually kind of like walking around the beginning part of the game with the starting outfit. So you're probably starting to notice the signature enemy of the game. These guardians that are just, like, lying around in a disheveled state. Look, this one. is actually the one that's closer to the place that you meet Zelda, because it's got like the road leading up to it. You see a bit more just like haphazardly like thrown about the place. Gears, much like with monster parts, you've got a dichotomy of items. You have common, uncommon, rare. One more from this one, I think. Kind of off topic, but recently I actually oh wait, gonna sneak up behind him. Trying to sniff me out. What? Heard me. Another thing that this game does is that if your weapon is broken, it will start flashing red, and if it's undamaged, you'll have that little like sparkle on it. And if it's undamaged, instead of just like letting it run out like the other weapons have been, you could actually throw the item, and when it breaks, it could actually do more damage to enemies than just a regular hit. I know we get a bow, which normally you would have to like... Normally you would have to go a bit into the game before you're even able to like get a bow to like do a switch puzzle. But here they're just like, I have a bow. It's mostly because the game effectively revolves around being able to use the bow effectively. Got a few more of these guys just like lying about. I'm the type of person that like usually likes holding on to like a lot of items. And it's always really nice to know that these enemies kind of respawn the items that are inside of them every once in a while. I don't know the exact timing, but it does happen. So the area that we're going to is just over there, which is clearly that like mound. There. Might as well take some of the some enemies out from a higher distance while I'm at it. One of the cool things that they added into this sort of into this game that has been around in Zelda games but hasn't really been applied, the word isn't properly, but as integral to the actual gameplay as the physics engine of this game, where you can just push stuff over, leading into like a large explosion like that because you're pushing a heavy rock onto explosives. Picking up some seared steak to help me. More clubs. Nothing in that one. These ones I believe have bow and arrows, so I'm going to show off the arrow combat a little bit. If you get a headshot, you do extra damage. Got them out of the way without too much of a hassle. I got their small discount bows. What I like doing is I like using the one with the least amount of damage first. So I'm holding onto more powerful ones just in case I need it. That one has a shield. And so when I attack, he's going to hold up the shield. But if you just kind of like pressure it a little bit, he drops it. Now I have the shield. I can't remember if... Nope. Beating on the enemy shield doesn't break it necessarily, so it won't be whittled down like that. I got my first sword in the game. Took me 28 minutes. But I'm actually going to hold on to that sword for later. How about we check out this.
Try to remember. You have been asleep for the past 100 years. The beast. When the beast regains its true power, this world will face its end. Now then, you must hurry, Link. Before it's too late.
What an amazing call to action moment. You're basically like shown this right at the beginning of the game, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's like swirling with darkness. You should probably do something about that. That's all the time I have for this video. See you in the next one when we get off of this and start talking about some of the other stuff that we kind of unlocked with raising up these towers. Bye, everybody.